400 slabs in inventory right now, all with that Grady Dick file loaded.
See, they're lucky I'm not CryptoSlabs, because I'd be like, a Grady Dick for everybody.
And
like,
you'd probably have them all displayed. They'd probably be all 400 lined up on a wall somewhere.
You could just see that suit just over and over and over. Yeah, exactly. It'd be, oh my God, so sparkly.
Tork, you go by Tork?
Here we are.
Oh,
we're
sorry.
back, everyone. Welcome to episode 112 of the Collectin and Connectin podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Banana Bank Mac, and today I'm joined by Cooper Flag's biggest fan, Tork. How are you, buddy?
Fantastic. I should have warned you ahead of time, Nick, that Mac's sneaky with the intro when she hits the start button. She gets a little trigger happy, but we're excited, man. I'm excited to be back. I'm excited to be feeling better. We'll rehash that here in a moment. But yeah, very excited to have the man, the myth, the legend from CryptoSlabs on. I cannot wait to pick his brain about all the amazing stuff that he is building in the background.
It's his big debut.
Yeah.
Welcome to the big stage, Nick from CryptoSlabs. A guy who could be slabbing a moment for you in some corner nearby.
Yeah. Back in my bat cave right now, my slab lab, as I call it.
Nice.
Tucked away.
We love it. Look at all those boxes. You have everything back there.
Yeah. I've got my little workshop. My wife definitely likes to keep me, in my little corner over here when I'm working late nights. But yeah, it's got everything I need. Do it out of my home. It's been a passion that's definitely grown into something, a bit more, and really excited to bring slabs to the collector community.
They're amazing. Like, unreal watching you at TopShot's event at Brewdogs in Vegas, where you were literally slabbing. I don't even know how many live.
Yeah, that was fun. The first time I did that was at Fanatics Fest, with the Dapper team. And been working with Jacob for a while, and he brought that idea up, and I'm like, on one hand I'm like, hell yeah, let's do it, and on the other hand it's like, I've never done this outside of my garage. Like, what are some of the curveballs that could come into play? But at the end of the day, it does, like, I've definitely worked out a process for creating the slabs, and like, for me, the two biggest priorities are product quality and just high level of customer service support. Like, I'm really big on attention to detail. So I told Jacob, hey, if I'm going to do this, like, I need to make sure I can do it right. So ran some tests, and yeah, it ended up being really, really fun. Had a couple of little hurdles, mainly with internet. Like, that's honestly been like the biggest issue, is like a stable internet connection at these like random places that I'll show up to. Fortunately, like, it wasn't too bad at in Vegas, but yeah, to be able to kind of slab live, it has always been like a goal, and to be able to do that and become more efficient with creating slabs is it's great. I'm looking forward to doing the same thing at the National here in just a couple of days. So for those who aren't aware, I'll be at the National with Dapper Labs team, slabbing live again, and really bringing NFTs to the forefront. I believe that hopefully we're not too much further away before we go to card shows, and NFTs are a common thing. Right now, you go to a card show and maybe you see VFriends, you see what Panini's doing, but 80-90% of the show is physical, and physical is not going anywhere, but there's definitely a place for NFTs. So card show by card show, we'll get there.
It's so awesome. Like, how many did you do that night by any chance?
At least 20. I'd say, yeah, between probably 20, 25. I can usually, like, if I have everything cranking, I can make a slab in under 10 minutes. And the goal is, and I'm pretty close to it, is to do a slab under 5 minutes. That's kind of like, if I want to get the company, this product where it really should be, I have to be under that 5 minute mark. And progressively it's getting easier, it's getting faster, more efficient, that sort of thing. But yeah, let's say 20, 25.
That's awesome. That's just amazing to me. Like watching you at Summer League and you're just like chilling in your corner. And people just come over and they're like, this is what I want. And you were on that, like, just
yeah, it's fun. Yeah, little desktop, had a beer next to me. It's all I needed.
That's all you ever need.
Yeah.
You were complete.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. You've done
I can only
really
imagine
great
that,
work.
you know, card shows otherwise, you know, somebody sees that happening and of course they got to be drawn to it.
Yeah.
And I would hope that, you know, that creates a very solid domino effect. I'm curious to see how it could blend itself with, you know, like the sticker autos component of what they do in the physical world, especially given the most recent, I'd say about a week or two ago, that whole thing that happened with whether or not some of those autos were real or not.
Crazy.
I've never been a huge fan of the sticker auto component of physicals, but I would definitely do it on a crypto slab. And here's why, because that NFT, you can trace it back to the blockchain. And it's not something that I would ever have to worry about where that came from or somebody trying to manipulate it or et cetera. So I think that unique component of it specifically for the digital side to bridge that gap is pretty awesome.
Yeah. Signature slabs has again been something I've dreamed up and have been working on for quite some time. I just hadn't had like a real reason to do it yet. You know, I was like thinking about it. I made some kind of mock-ups of like how it could work. And then our good friend Paulie reached out to me. And we did an Allen Iverson thing where he signed a slab. He signed a little, you know, plate, a signature plate. And that was really cool. And I got to shout out Collectin as well. Collectin is, as far as I know, the first to get a slab actually signed. He had what's his name? For Tristan da Silva from the Magic sign the actual LCD. And that I thought was really cool. Like, you know, signing the actual LCD, it's imprinted on, you know, the slab itself. It's awesome. You know, Paulie came up with the concept of having like an actual you know, plate kind of inside the LCD, and it took some time to kind of create that. But that came out really, really nice. Ty Jerome signed one for me out in Summer League. And yeah, it's something that I'd like to offer to collectors, this kind of signature plate concept. Yeah, and to your point, Tork, you know, of course, having NFTs, you know, the information is on the blockchain, it's fully transparent. You know, it's a much more, you have much more confidence when buying something like that. And I hope to work with, you know, with Dapper and some other collections on, you know, making signature slabs more authentic and certifiable. You know, there's some really easy things that we can do to kind of make that happen. But yeah, at this point, you know, for those listening, if you have a slab, if you want to buy a slab and you have an opportunity for the athlete in the slab to sign, you know, to sign it, please reach out to me. I'd love to work with you, you know, and make sure that gets happened.
So when you have somebody who is completely green to the process, you're at a show, et cetera, what are some of the main questions that you get asked? Like what if people who might be hesitant, they're not really understanding, what do they want to know first and foremost?
Yeah, I mean, usually if I get any questions around like, and frankly, I got a lot of this like at Fanatics Fest, people just coming up to me with like genuine smile, genuine interest, but kind of like, what is this? You know, as simple as that. And usually I kind of answer their question with a question. I'll say like, well, have you heard of NFTs? And that kind of allows me to figure out where to start. Because at the end of the day, like the slab that I've designed, it's relatively straightforward. You know, when you think about it, it's a display. It's an LCD, you know, in a small display. Internal storage allows you to you know, display JPEGs, MP4s. I create a label, of course, which I think is one of like the big differentiators with my product compared to some of the other like NFT displays out there. Is this you know, this label, this kind of design that looks like a PSA slab. Thank you, Nicole. But yeah, so I usually kind of figure out where their head is at in terms of like what their knowledge of NFTs, digital collectibles. And then from there, you know, it's kind of explaining like what digital collectibles are, what NBATOPSHOT is, you know, and other NFT brands, and really just highlighting that like if you own one of these, It's just not enough having the digital collectible live on a phone or, you know, in your kind of account collection box somewhere where no one really can see it. Like, yeah, you can share it on social. Yeah, you can kind of like bring it up on your phone and show people. But like what I've always said is like TopShot moments, NFTs, you know, especially if you're paying, you know, triple, quadruple digits, like thousands of dollars in these things, they demand to be displayed. It's not just, you know, I want this displayed. Like they demand to be displayed. And not to mention, like with TopShot, especially, like I got caught, you know, in some conversations there with people like showing off like their collections. And some of these moments, you know, are commons, or, you know, some are rares, but like relatively low end mid-tier moments, I guess you could say. And you kind of forget how cool these highlights are. Like there was like an out of 10,000 moment, I forget who it was, and it was a sick dunk, like super cool, looks amazing in the slab. And I think after a while, especially if you're collecting TopShot, and you reach your hundreds of moments, you kind of forget what's there. And then having a slab, you know, on your desk, on a shelf, it's kind of this reminder of like, not only do I own that, but like, look how incredible this play was, this dunk was. So yeah, I think back to kind of your original question, Tork, you know, I think it's about explaining like the value of digital collectibles, you know, how transparent it is with the blockchain, how easy it is to buy and trade these moments, but also that there is a means to display them, and to show them off, and to, you know, really put them side by side with just about any other PSA slab. So yeah, I think you know, we've got quite a road ahead in terms of really establishing NFTs as like, you know, the go-to in terms of collectibles, and really creating this global kind of excitement. But we're definitely on the way, and I hope that CryptoSlabs kind of plays a small part, you know, in bridging that gap between the physical and digital space.
I envision a future, quite honestly. Like I know, what was it, a couple days ago? Japan now has TopShot vending machines. What a world we live in.
Yeah.
So near future, CryptoSlab vending machines. Might as well just have an option right next to them, so that way that you can have that to go with it. Makes perfect sense in my brain. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you know, an obvious goal would be card shops, like, you know, partnering with some top high end like card shops and getting these displayed. You know, vending machines would be sick. I think there's definitely like room to grow with like the ability to pack a slab. You know, being able to rip it live. That's actually possible right now. I just have to work out like a few little workflow things, but like, you know, I would love to see like in the not so distant future where you're buying, like you buy a TopShot pack, but it's a physical pack, and you're ripping that pack, opening a CryptoSlab, and that also reveals the NFT. So you can kind of think about it both ways. Like, of course, you can rip digital packs all day long. It's awesome experience. But to really like bring physical collectors on board, why not give them a physical pack? And TopShot is starting to do that. They've you know, actually brought some like physical packs with QR codes inside, and that's like a really cool, fun thing to do. But like taking it the next step, like put a slab in there. So yeah, there's lots of ways to kind of grow that experience, I think.
Such a cool idea. I mean, I love it. So, and then shout out Paulie for doing the QR codes outside the Garden before the Knicks game. I saw him doing that. Like that was, Paulie's so awesome, man, for so many different reasons. But anyway,
yeah, Paulie, Colton, you know,
Colton,
Banana,
those guys,
like,
man, they're all. I mean, they're boots on the
really,
ground,
really cool,
making it happen. I mean, that's not easy. I mean, like that's tough work to interact. I mean, but you have to be that kind of a personable person. Obviously, they both are. So shout out to both of them. Curious to know specifically with the slab. So obviously we can see our moments, etc. I was actually making a video of my Ron Holland freshman gems. And I realized as I'm putting some music over it, it doesn't show my number one cereal. Shout out Ron Holland and number one cereals. Shout out Scotty number one on all the leaderboards for number one cereals. At any rate, with the slabs, that comes with all that specific information, correct? Like
correct.
We get to know like what the mint count was and everything else, right?
That's right. So that was a really important factor. in creating CryptoSlabs. Obviously, you want to be able to display the moment, but I felt that there was this, missing piece of like, what's your serial number? What's the collection that this is from? What's the rarity? And TopShot kind of calls that out in the color scheme of the border, but like you don't really know as a kind of a random fan. So yeah, like and really the go-to kind of model for showing that is PSA slabs or just slabs and any Beckett upper deck PSA. I think that's just a great, like, to me, like a great model to build from. They've set the standard in terms of slabs for physical cards. So that's where kind of my mind started and saying, hey, how can I make basically a modern slab? How can I incorporate NFTs into this? I didn't want to rip off PSA, from kind of they're like, okay, take a PSA slab and stick a LCD in it. I wanted to modernize it, which is another reason why, like, we've added audio, we've added the ability to prop the stand up on a stand. I've added the swappable labels concept. But yeah, like, I definitely recognize that you need to be able to see that serial number. That's an important piece. The rarity. I also have added the badges as well. I think that's like a long forgotten, or not long forgotten, but like it's something that people kind of forget about is how cool those badges are. So I've added those to labels too.
They stand out on the labels. Like,
yeah. And by the way, Nicole, like, you have some of the best Grady Dick moments and they look so good in the slab. I don't know if you can show that up close, but like they've got #1 serial badge. You've got, triple badge, TSD. Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of fun making those labels.
Yeah, they're sick.
Even over the camera, they look amazing. I mean, like, even over that's awesome. And you look so happy.
I'm so happy. I've never been happier.
So
getting my new slab, I was stoked. You don't even know, Tork. I was hyped up.
So you'll like this. This is so no one knows this. This is first on the podcast. So I've designed the slabs myself. This is a patent that I've created, and I've been approved for, long time coming. And I get these, made and shipped to me kind of in their kind of default, base package. From there, I customize. Oh yeah, and here's our white version, by the way, which I just kind of formally launched. I can show you kind of what that looks like. But when I receive them and before the customization begins, I have a kind of a default video file that I've preloaded on all of the slabs before I actually customize it to your moment. And that particular video file, you'll be happy, is Grady Dick's his rookie legendary. So it's a way for me to validate, that if a slab is is working properly, is displayed well. It's just kind of like my standardization, when I'm QCing the slabs for the first time. But yeah, I thought you'd like that. So I've got about 400 slabs in inventory right now, all with that Grady Dick file loaded.
See, they're lucky I'm not CryptoSlabs, because I'd be like, a Grady Dick for everybody.
And like, you'd probably have them all displayed. They'd probably be all 400 lined up on a wall somewhere.
You could just see that suit just over and over and over.
Yeah, exactly.
It'd be, oh my God, so sparkly.
You'd be looking at it being like, take me home.
It'd be mesmerizing. Like, I would just be like hypnotized by the beauty of that suit.
Beauty of Grady.
He's a handsome dude.
Met Grady.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, long story short, I had the opportunity to meet Grady in Vegas. We're kind of talking about some ways to work together, and yeah, he's a great guy. I mean, all the good things to say about him. Super nice, super chill. Like, yeah, he's a good dude.
I had FOMO. I saw the picture and I
I know. I was excited to tell you, but at the same time, I was like, oh man, I can't like tell you too much details because you're just gonna hate me. But yeah, he's he's a cool guy. Hopefully, I mean, I'm talking to him and his dad actually about some stuff. Yeah, hopefully we can work out something together and get you an introduction.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's make it happen on the podcast.
Oh, that'd be great.
Look at that. First celebrity sighting, big deal for the pod.
Sure.
I think you might need a private moment off camera just to compose yourself. I don't know. I would. But that's just me.
Just you. So Nick, tell us about Vegas. So you came to the shoot around with us, right?
Yeah, I was there.
What'd you think of that?
That was a blast, and I'm really happy that I wore gym shorts and like decent sneakers. Like I don't know what was going on. Like I live in Southern California, and Vegas is pretty easy drive for me. 4 or 5 hours. So I kind of packed quickly, and obviously like my priority was making sure that I had everything ready to slab that night, and of course knew some of the happy hour events, or some of the happy hour, and then also some of the events that TopShot was planning, but that was kind of like back in my mind. I wasn't like thinking about too much of that. So I got there, and I remember waking up and being like, oh shit, like do I have basketball clothes? I don't want to show up in jeans, and yeah, luckily I had packed some like gym shorts, and I had like some sneakers on. I didn't really know what to expect. Like, are we just gonna play horse? Are we gonna like kind of just hang out? So yeah, they put us through. I mean, I don't know if you guys participated, but like they put us through a full round of like drills at the beginning. Like we were getting our sweat on. We were definitely running some lines and doing some stretching, and then of course we went into kind of more of the like the shoot around style, but super cool place. It's kind of like, the best way I would describe it would be like a Top Golf for basketball, kind of like a small like gamification, or like a super legit arcade. Yeah, really fun experience. Shout out to Steve and Jacob and the team for setting that up. Hopefully we can do it next year.
So you were there, you saw the pickup game that was played, probably participated in it. Who
I did not participate. I was on the sidelines for that one, but I was watching.
Gotcha. Who was MVP of that game?
Ooh, shout out to my boy Noah. He played in high school and maybe college. Steve was looking pretty good out there too. Trying to remember, like a few other guys I'm sure were standouts.
Sammy D.
Yeah. I play, like growing up, I'd play horse out in my my front yard, lightning or whatever with my buddies, but was never one for pickup. So I played some pickup ball like in my old job, like lunch break, and that was like my first real like just experience, I guess, with playing like in a full game competitively, and we were playing like half court, and I'm like, dude, this is I get it now. I get why this sport's so hard. So yeah, shout out to those guys for playing pickup. It was fun to watch.
Who was the guy out there taking charges or trying to take charges? There's always one guy.
I don't know. I can't remember anybody.
Everybody was playing nice that day. Okay, that's good.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, they're playing serious pickup. Like they weren't messing around, those guys. But yeah, I couldn't remember anybody like really taking any charges.
Okay, good.
He's friendly.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because like they're playing hard, hard physical basketball, and I'm over here, taking advantage of the donuts that they had brought. So it's kind of like two different levels of collectors, and I kind of fell to that side. I'll get out there and shoot, but like if it comes to run up and down the court, now I'll take the donuts.
The donuts were good though.
My playing days are long behind me, knee injury as well, whatever. And I to be honest with you, even if I was still playing, I'm just not sure I would have run up and down. I would have been right near the donuts with you. So
we don't let Tork go on walks or runs anymore.
I can't. I'm not allowed to go outside anymore in Vegas. Like this is,
No.
I'm on restriction.
If we can't get him a scooter, he's going to be piggybacked around or in a wagon.
Okay.
I just it was a bad mistake. Like I started walking down the strip thinking like, oh, I'll get there quicker, and didn't realize like I should have just taken a cab. And some underlying health issues aside, I got halfway to this place and I was like, man, I'm feeling this. And so ended up getting in the cab, seeing Mac and her friend for the first time, meeting the other Mac, Andy Mac. Shout out Andy Mac. Andy Mac was amazing to me throughout that whole process. We got to the arena and I'm sitting there and I'm just like, guys, I don't feel so good. So I was kind of going back and forth, ended up catching a cab back to the hotel, went to sleep, felt okay, woke up and decided they were going down to Fremont Street at like 10 o'clock. And I was like, cool, I'm hydrated, I'm feeling okay. The cab we got in had like no air conditioning in the back. And so when I got down there, I started all over again. And from there, it was just a wrap. So
Vegas is hard on the soul. You know, my day job, I go out to Vegas usually once, twice a year. And part of me is like looking forward to it. The other part of me is like, oh man, what's going to happen? And as I've gotten a little older, I've become wiser, and I've stayed out, not as late, one or two less cocktails. So I've kind of got the Vegas thing down. But yeah, my 20s, I definitely woke up on a few occasions hating life. And this time of year too, it's hot, man. It's a hot city to be in, walking around. It's the blocks are long. It's not like a normal block. So maybe that's where you got caught up, Tork. Like,
it was. And I knew better. I just, and the funny thing is, like, I thought I was properly hydrated. Hadn't drank anything. The intention was not to drink anything at all, for a lot of different reasons. But I mean, and it just, like I said, I got halfway there, Caesars to New York, and I was just like, this is stupid. And at that point, it was too late. I mean, like, it had already started. Not full on heat stroke, no seizures or anything like that, but definitely heat exhaustion.
But definitely you need to go back to the room. Yeah,
go back to the room. Had to call in an IV. It was a whole thing. Which was, I mean, great experience. I learned a lot about hydration science. So there's that. So if you guys have any questions, anyway, just don't walk around in Vegas. Don't be a dummy like Tork. You'll be okay.
Tork Ubers to Fremont, and we're standing there, and he's like, I'm not feeling good. Like, chill here for a minute. I'm like, oh, did you walk here? And I just, Tork could not stay away from me.
She nailed it. I was laughing my ass off at that point. Like, even when I wasn't feeling well, like, I'm not that guy. Like, I mean, but it was hilarious in that moment. And I got going back and forth at the Golden Nugget to the bathroom. I got propositioned a few times, so I got that Vegas experience. And I think they finally realized, like, man, that's not the one. I'm like, guys,
you're wasting their time.
Like, just stop. But no, honestly, like, everybody that I was able to meet, it's funny walking to New York. I ran into Eisenberg, and so I got to talk to him for a moment. I hadn't seen him in a few years, but everybody that I met community wise, I mean, like, it was awesome. I mean, like, Bayou Sniper, like a long lost brother, my Texas long lost brother, got to meet his wife, lovely people. So it was nice. It was sad to not be able to be as involved as I would have liked to have been. But amazing to see the community show up and show out, not just for the happy hour deal, but going to the games as well. Really bummed I missed happy hour because I wanted some CryptoSlabs, but we'll address that later on. I
got you.
But yeah, for sure.
For me, same thing. Like, I had a blast meeting everybody, like putting face to the username kind of thing. Obviously not everybody could be there, but like we had a strong crowd. It was great chatting with people, and just building those connections. Looks like we lost Banana.
She'll be back. Yeah, no, it's funny when you have these online personas of how folks act, and it's a lot of, I'd say, I think a lot of us know each other well enough in the space that we jab each other like we're friends, and it was nice to have that kind of camaraderie, in real person, in real life as well. And so, it's unique in that regard for a lot of different reasons. And not sure you'll get that experience anywhere else.
And like, for me, I don't know if it's for everybody, but like this side of my life is relatively like in the shadows, I guess. Like, I don't like talk about my business outside of really like my close friends and family. It's really kind of, highly focused on the NFT digital collectible communities, most of which I've never met before. They're all, online, all on, so able to be able to like really talk about what I do and what, they're interested in, and why they like the slab so much, on a very like real level, like no BS, just one-to-one level, has been, it's been great. I mean, like, again, like I've been working on CryptoSlabs for over 4 years now, if you can believe it. And I can kind of chat a little bit about kind of the inception, like the history and all that. But like, it's been a lot of just me sitting in my garage, or, researching, designing, with some feedback from people, and some colleagues, and some people that I trust, along with my wife. But overall, like I haven't really been out there, mucking it up with people, until Fanatics Fest and then Summer League. So again, like it was really empowering and really encouraging, and it kind of, not that I really like need any encouragement, because I believe that my product is, it's here to stay. It's not going anywhere. Like the sky's the limit. But to hear kind of a lot of the support and feedback from customers and just collectors firsthand, really lit a fire under me and told me kind of that I'm not only headed in the right direction with this, but also, I've got a lot of great ideas, great feedback, kind of where I kind of see the next phase of slabs going, and kind of some other areas that I can target. So yeah, all in all, like Summer League, is just a great experience, and I look forward to next year.
It's obvious your passion comes through. I mean, like that's that. And so I would like to go back to the inception, like how it kind of started. Yeah. And some of the things, maybe some setbacks along the way, maybe something that was a setback that turned into something positive. But yeah, I would love to hear a little bit more about that. And I think that, when going back to what you said about collectors, obviously we're all very passionate about what we're collecting, right? But you meet us on that level. And so I think that, at that point, it's like, oh man, it's like a real recognized, real kind of moment, so to speak. And so that it just kind of galvanizes that energy going forward. So, but yeah, anything you would love to share about, not just the inception, but anything along the way, I would love to hear about it.
Yeah. I think most of us in this space, we got our start collecting something, right? Trading cards or action figures or what have you. And same for me, Pokemon cards. I kind of inherited my dad's baseball and hockey card collection that I still have tucked away. But as a young kid, like I was interested in collecting things, and that passion, of course, has been there, for as long as I can remember. But like, to be honest, like in the more adult years of my life, last 5-10 years, I haven't been all that interested in like hardcore collecting, I guess you could say. Like I've got my cards. I'll kind of keep up on certain things, but like overall, not really a collector, professional collector, going to card shows or anything. In fact, like I had never been to a card show or even a collectible show before Fanatics Fest. That was my first like true collectible show that I had ever been to. So that was just cool from like a personal level. But I digress. CryptoSlabs really started out of, I will never forget this moment, but I was, my daughter, who is now 4.5, she was like 2 or 3 months old. And it was 2 a.m. I'm trying to get her to go back to sleep, giving my wife, some time to rest. And I was browsing on my phone and I came across, this is March of 2021. So you guys probably remember that time for TopShot, but I came across the kind of infamous article about, I think it was a LeBron sale. and there was like a quote, like the Mark Cuban quoted on NFTs. To me, I'm like, what the hell is an NFT? I had very little experience in crypto outside of just like trying to figure out what a wallet was, how to buy Ethereum, how to buy Bitcoin. That was like it. So to hear about NFTs, for me, it was a much more like digestible. It hit a certain chord in me that just made sense. Where like cryptocurrencies just didn't ring the same bell. NFTs, digital collectibles, again, that was just like some spark. Like, okay, there's something here. And that led me into TopShot. I started collecting, immediately recognized like this is the future. This, physical collecting is not going anywhere, but like digital collecting has a space. So that got me into NFTs. And I'm sorry, this is kind of a long-winded answer, but I'm getting there. That got me into NFTs, and again, kind of that we talked about at the beginning of the conversation. Like it wasn't very much longer after I started collecting TopShot and some other NFTs that I recognized, like, wait a minute, I just spent a couple $100 on this moment. I want to show it off. This belongs on a shelf, just like my Mark McGuire, rookie card that I have, or my LeBron, my LeBron slap. Like this belongs next to it, and I'm not going to stick my phone up there. I'm not going to like put it on my desktop computer. So that got me thinking, right? Like what would that look like? And naturally, I thought about, okay, well, PSA slabs, like this is a really cool way to display, a moment. And of course, I came across Infinite Objects, which they make awesome displays, and they had that. I don't know if they still have a partnership or not with TopShot, but they make the displays, and it got me kind of to be honest, like I was a little discouraged because like, okay, it's something like that already exists. But it also told me that there was still kind of a missing piece. I didn't feel like it was enough, to be able to display something that just didn't have like a label, then you could see your serial number. I didn't think it was the right size. So that, again, kind of like led me down this path of design and figuring out what like the perfect display would look like for a TopShot moment. So that's another thing that I want to just, highlight is like the CryptoSlabs. The reason why CryptoSlabs exists is because of NBATOPSHOT. Like that is the connection. Like if there was no other NFTs out there, it was just TopShot, CryptoSlabs would still be here. That being said, like I definitely want to cater to other collections and other brands. There's no reason why, you shouldn't be able to display anything on a CryptoSlab. But I just want to be, very, very clear that like TopShot is the reason why CryptoSlabs exists. That's what I designed it around. And I'm really happy to kind of be in a place now where, I'm kind of bringing this to life and giving something back to TopShot collectors. But yeah, kind of fast forward through those 4 years of, there's a lot of design, a lot of late nights in my garage trying to figure out what this would look like. The patent approval process took, at least 2 years. And the last really 6 months have been the most fun because the design's done. I feel really confident about the quality of the slab, like the quality of the product, frankly. It doesn't look like something that, I just kind of, hand tinkered and handed over like a little hobby. I really wanted to make this look like a product you'd buy in a store. Look and feel, and it is. I think anybody who buys a slab, that's kind of their first reaction is like, oh, like this is super clean. This is a legit product, and that's 4 years, really of effort and trying to execute on kind of this concept. So, yeah, I mean, kind of the short answer, Tork, 4 long years of design development. A lot of passion, a lot of headaches. I think you asked kind of like, what are some of the challenges that went into it? I mean, nothing really like sticks out in terms of like problems that I ran into. I think if there's any advice I can give to builders, whether you're creating like any kind of product, it's if you're passionate about something. It sounds very stereotypical, but like if you're passionate about something, if you really believe in something, like just keep going, like keep trudging through, because eventually you'll get there. Even if it's not the same kind of thing that you had in your mind, it's not going to be a clean kind of process, but eventually you will get there. And I've heard that time and time again. And you don't really know how hard it is until you're in that place. So for that for me was like the biggest learning lesson, is like, just keep pushing, no matter how big, how small the problem. Like if you believe in it, just keep going. And like, shout out to my wife. Like that's another reason. Like I say TopShot, CryptoSlabs wouldn't be around if it weren't for TopShot. I have to kind of put a little asterisk there. CryptoSlabs wouldn't be here if it weren't for my wife. So I got to give her credit where credit's due.
So we're 4 years in. Where do you, and what's the next step? The next 4 years, what does it look like in your mind?
Yeah. So one other thing about like product design is, I'm constantly trying to improve the product, to make it better, to add features, to add tech. And it's kind of it's a bit of a rabbit hole, because like once you're designing something, I'm a bit of a perfectionist. I want this to be as perfect as possible, but also like you can't please everybody. And also like at a certain place, I recognize like I need to kind of slow down and actually sell kind of what exists now, as opposed to like keep thinking about what's next. So I try to divide my time, at least kind of how I'm thinking about the product, like in terms of like, okay, what can I do to improve on the product as it exists today? What are some little things that I can make better that collectors will want? And then on the other half, it's like, okay, where do I want to be in a year? What does this product look like in phase 2? What does CryptoSlabs 2 look like, or what have you? And I think the number one thing that collectors keep asking me is, integration with a wallet. So some form of Wi-Fi connectivity, connecting the slab to like the TopShot app, for example, to be able to, swap. Like, let's say you were to sell your moment, your NFT, and now, what you have on your slab is technically not yours. I actually have a solve for that. That's one of the main reasons why. So here's a Tiki Barber CryptoSlab in the square version, which I've kind of highlighted recently. I can, show you how that looks. So let's say you have this Tiki Barber moment. You have it displayed. You think you'll never sell this. The labels are removable. So whoops. So they're magnetized, right? So you can take this off very easily and order a new label from my website for $10. I'll ship it to you, global shipping. And then you put the new label on the slab. Every slab has a USB-C connector in the bottom. So you can easily swap out the moment yourself just by plugging it into your computer. That's phase 1. That's where we're in right now. It's a quick and kind of easy way to display your moment. Now, of course, that leads into, what about authentication, ownership, that sort of thing? And really, the only true way for that is by having some level of connectivity between the slab, and TopShot, for example. So I'm working with a developer to kind of make that bridge happen, to be able to have some Wi-Fi connectivity or Bluetooth connectivity within the slab. The challenge there is that by adding, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, by creating a kind of wallet integration, you're adding to the complexity of the product. And I just want to make sure that if we were to kind of go down that path, that the kind of vision for the product stays the same. Like this is just a means to display a digital collectible. I'm striving to be, the standard for displaying a collectible. And I believe that some form of like app connectivity integration is required for that. I just want to kind of take things slowly and make sure that whatever it is that I kind of integrate into the slab, that it works properly, that it's simple, and also that it's cost effective. That's another thing, is like by adding new tech, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, whatever, not only in increasing the complexity of the product, but it's also for sure going to drive up the cost. And again, like I wanted to price the slab as competitively as possible. $50 for a slab. Most of the time people are like, oh, why don't you charge more? And you know what? This is what I believe is a price that collectors will want to pay to be able to display, the moment that they enjoy. And that way, any extra money that they thought they had to pay, it can go right back into, collecting more moments. So as far as kind of what's next, yeah, I think eventually we will see some form of like Wi-Fi or like connectivity to your Dapper wallet or Ethereum wallet. But I'd say we're still, maybe a year or so away from that. Outside of that, just, one quick kind of point that I make often is like, again, I try and like focus on like, what can I do for the slab right now in its current design without like making any major changes. And to me, the answer is customization, like really personalizing your slab. So I've got some really cool stuff coming for next season. So I think fall, October timeframe. So start of next season, you'll start to see some really cool new ways to personalize your slab. And just some kind of hints to that. Currently, I do not display like the owner information, right? Like it's just the moment information. Well, let's say you wanted to maybe include your account name. Let's say you wanted to kind of add like a little kind of title or something onto it. That's coming. Let's say this is something that I'm really excited about. Let's say you wanted to kind of highlight a particular collection. By adding some customization or some like kind of cool design work that TopShot has already, opened up to the public. That's coming. Set holders. So I've got something coming for set holders. If you own a set and wanted to display the entire set on a slab, that is coming. It's actually a long time coming. So yeah, some really cool stuff that I'm excited to kind of bring out to the table that kind of supports the current model. And yeah, there's some other stuff I want to share, but I'm gonna keep it close to my heart until it's ready to go. But yeah, that is more is coming. I'm in it for the long haul, and I've got some really fun stuff in the next 6 months.
I'm pretty excited. I was going to ask you that if we're going to be able to finally display a whole set.
Yeah.
I'm itching. I feel like my whole life there's some crypto card slabs all around me, but
yeah,
I've been trying to complete a legendary set here, and like if I could complete it this season, I got 3 left, and have that all displayed. Like I know I'm not selling that. Yeah,
I completely agree. Like I think being able to display a set is super important, and like frankly, it's from a technical standpoint, it's not that hard. There's definitely some, extra time that it would take to kind of load all those moments and kind of get to display it the right way. So you may pay like a premium to get your set displayed, but I think it's going to be really popular for collectors. Another thing that I've been kind of toying with is like the label design, because currently I display the label is kind of a templated version where it's specific to a moment itself. So in this case, it'd have to be specific to the collection or the set. So kind of what does that look like? How do I represent a serial number? You can't really. Maybe you can go like average serial number. So that might be something that I actually turn around and ask the community, like, hey, what would you want to see here? I'm still kind of working out like what that looks like, but yeah, set holders will be happy, be able to buy CryptoSlabs for an entire set very, very soon.
So could it be one of those situations where you've got like a basic slab at the $50 price, and then maybe, okay, depending on functionality, Bluetooth in the future, et cetera, maybe it's a whole set, maybe it's a couple moments, maybe it's a playlist, and then the price is scaled accordingly?
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
That's kind of the simple answer is I'd have different variants of the slab with added functionality, kind of your base model with a fixed label, like $50. To me, that's like a perfect price. A lot of people seem to be happy with that. And then kind of if you wanted added features, if you wanted like swappable labels, if you wanted customization, that sort of thing, then yeah, you'd pay kind of a premium for that. So the trick is like, how do I stay within kind of a reasonable threshold of like, I want to make sure that I'm catering to like the wide audience here, like everybody, not just, your number one moment holders. I want to sell to people who just love a moment, maybe it's a game they went to. I actually sold a slab to a guy at Fanatics Fest. I think it was a LaMelo moment, like out of 20,000 or whatever. By collector standards, maybe a $2 moment. But he was at that game, and it was his son's first game, and he wanted to put that on display as to remember that. I'm like, hell yeah, man! That's why I started this company. Is for that, to display something that's true to your heart. Whether it be a number one cereal that's worth 20 grand, or that first game that you went to with your son. That's what it's about.
Couldn't agree more. Honestly, like that's what makes a moment special, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, one of my favorite moments, this will be a shocker, Grady Dick's metallic gold. And it's because it was Vince Carter's jersey retirement, and I was at that game with Jake the Shake. Awesome. So like,
yeah,
I'm trying to get the number one before I get my slab for it. I've thought this out, Nick.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
And another quick point to that. So I gave, I met, Ty Jerome. I was lucky to meet him at the Summer League, which shout out to TopShot for setting that up. That was really cool. But I had him sign a slab with his rookie debut moment it was him hitting like a half court shot. I forget exactly what moment it is. That you can find it on the marketplace pretty easily, but it's him hitting a half court shot when he was with the Thunder, I believe. And when I showed it to him, you could see, like, obviously it's like cool for him to see this. So like, oh, this is neat, there I am, but almost you could see him like recalling that moment in his head during the game. He probably hasn't seen that highlight in who knows how long, but to see it right there, like, it brings something to the player that a card, physical just card of throwing a pass or shooting a ball, this doesn't. When you see the highlight, it's like, oh, that takes me back to that moment when I hit that shot. And that was really special to see, and I hope more athletes, I hope we can create some more partnerships together, either through Dapper or, with myself directly, to kind of bring that joy of not only collecting, but like seeing, your achievements, on display.
That's why I think it's so unique in that regard. And I don't mean to be cliche about it, but it truly is a moment for all the reasons that both of y'all highlighted. It sends you back to that time, and all the memories come flooding back, versus a collectible. Like a card is a collectible. Those are great. Disney Pinnacle, collectible, great. Immutable, on the blockchain, awesome. But it's not a moment. And that's why TopShot and CryptoSlabs is so much better, because, as you said, that video and watching Ty Jerome literally recall. I've heard a lot of stories like that about a player seeing their moment, like, man, I didn't necessarily remember it like that. And so it's just in that regard, there's nothing else out there like it. And so
it's true.
Very, very,
and
very
shout out to Dapper for kind of coining the term moment. I mean, it's such a perfect way to kind of encapsulate what it is. It's a moment. It's a moment in time. It's a moment in the game. It's the digital collectible, it just it kind of grabs everything into one word. So yeah, moment, man. It is.
It's just special. And like, I hate to wrap this moment up, but 3 balls gonna get on me. We got to cut off. Do we have any like parting thoughts before we wrap up this call?
No, it's a pleasure talking to you guys. I'd love to be on again. I feel like we could, chat all day. I think that I've kind of talked a little bit about like what's coming for CryptoSlabs, but I'd say this again. The sky's the limit. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be continue catering to kind of collectors' needs. I really like truly listen to the community. So like if there's anything for those listening, those who follow me on X, if you don't, please give me a follow, CryptoSlabs on X. I always love to hear your feedback, positive or negative. I want to, at the end of the day, I want to create the best product for digital collectibles. Really the best way to display a digital collectible. I want CryptoSlabs to be, what you think of. So if there's anything that, that the community wants, looking for, please send it my way. Obviously, if you want to order a slab, check out my website, CryptoSlabs.s.io, or you can DM me on X as well. I do free mock-ups for people. I've been kind of behind, so I owe some people some mock-ups, so sorry. But if you want to see what your moment would look like in a slab, I can create a free mock-up for you as well. Outside of that, yeah, I think just continue to look out for some updates coming from me. We should have a really fun 25-26 NBA and NFL season. I've alluded a few times and kind of announced informally on Twitter or on X that I support NFL all day. So we have square and traditional slabs formed for NFL all day. I'd be happy to work with you on displaying your all day moments. But outside of that, yeah, I think we've got some other like really fun things coming. Last thing, if you, I guess this episode's going to be releasing afterwards, but I am attending the National. I'm actually headed out to Chicago tomorrow. So I'll be there. So if I see you there, looking forward to it. Otherwise, I'm sure we'll have like a recap video, or I'll post some pictures, from the event after I'm home. But yeah, excited to be doing more trade shows, more things with Dapper, and yeah, hopefully we can do another podcast together.
Definitely.
Yeah. No, it's been great, absolutely great talking to you. Shout out to the homies who couldn't be with us, Mr. Kicker, King Brett, queso for King Brett, the mayor, Treaticus, holding things down in Arkansas, making this town and the world a better place, one citizen at a time. Mac, parting thoughts?
I just want to thank you for coming on. I think maybe you should come back in October when there's some alpha dropping.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That, but
I'd say even before then.
Yes.
I think maybe we try and schedule something like just before the start of the season, as that's kind of what my timeline for kind of launching a few new things. And yeah, I think I'd love to kind of share more details on some of these concepts that I have in the works. Around September time period. But yeah, I'd love to be on again. Even just to talk shop with you guys is fun. So
awesome. Thank you.
And by the way, Fast Break Historic coming up. Hell yeah.
That's sick.
I know. I can't wait. I mean, it's a great concept. Love it. Can't wait to see how that like works out. I think a lot of us are kind of eager to see what it looks like. I personally got to work on my historic collection. It definitely leaves some room to be improved upon. But yeah, I'm really excited to participate. Whenever that starts. Is it end of August, or do we know when it starts?
Yeah, go get a Sean Bradley for block tonight.
Or maybe it's sooner than that. Maybe it's even just a few weeks away. I don't forget.
It's coming up. And by the way, two things. One, I do have the new Origin set that I'm going to need on a slab once I get my Iverson Master challenge. But I was thinking about it yesterday because SDA was asking me, he's like, hey, can you give me an elevator pitch on this Origin set? I was like, well, probably not the best guy. I just want to collect something. I'm kind of bored. But if you think about it, you can play daily fantasy anywhere, right? Anybody can go, and they, with the current players, you can't play historical fantasy anywhere. So I feel like if they get the mechanics of this right, the simulation mechanics right, the numbers, I'm curious to see how that plays out as well.
Yeah.
But nobody else is doing that. And so I think that, because if you're really just that kind of a connoisseur of that daily fantasy life, why not want to use some of your favorite players historically to play in a game and win more? It just seems like a win-win for me.
Yeah, it's a cool simulation. Whatever that kind of looks like, and I feel like they can build on that, and grow from whatever kind of phase one looks like. I'm sure there's more things that they can add and tweak and make even better. And yeah, like for me, I've been a big proponent since I joined TopShot of gamification, of incentivizing your moments. Obviously, with CryptoSlabs, I hope to bring some added value to your moment, but I think there's a lot more that can be done on the digital side, with gamification, with using your moments to grant you something, whether it be challenge rewards, locking a moment for set completion, or using them kind of in a game type of way, fantasy game type of way. And I'm really happy to see, Dapper doing more of that, and excited for Fast Break Historic.
It's a genius idea for sure.
Yeah, I was trying not to complete the Origin set, so I did not need Tork's elevator pitch, because now I'm thinking about it.
I wasn't going to complete it either, and I'm a bad influence, and I am sorry. I'm not sorry.
My wallet is like, please stop.
Yeah.
Continue yourself.
Yeah, I've ripped more packs in the past 2 weeks than I have in a while. And I texted Jacob. I was like, man, you're onto something here. I mean, the mechanics of it, the buyback, everything's just clicking. And, I love to see it. I think all of us collectors are really happy with the progress. So, yeah, man, let's carry this into the next season, because I think, I think sky's the limit.
We're just early.
We are so
early. Just early. We're so deep in it, we don't even see how early we are, guys. I'm going to tweet that right after this episode, because I just have to remind myself. My friend came to Summer League with me, who's not in TopShot, and seeing your CryptoSlab was something that kind of stuck with her, because she could see the physical.
Yeah,
she was like, this makes sense now, because it's all digital and people are behind.
Yeah, I think she may have asked me a question. I don't know if it was the same growing up, but she came up to me while I was at that happy hour, and she's like, are you working? Are you just checking emails or something? She was curious what I was doing. I explained, oh, okay, you're the slab guy. But yeah, it's really fun, and I'm looking forward to the next couple of days, the national, having those conversations. It's really cool to see people's eyes light up when they see this thing sitting on this desk or table. Well, in this case, multiple slabs on a table, showing all different types of moments and highlights, and serialized, and it does really grab people's attention. And I'm sorry, I know we're running out of time, but that's one thing that I really hope, is that slab owners bring these to card shows, and to show them off, because it catches people's attention. It opens kind of the door for conversation, and educating people on NFTs and how much better they are than collecting a trading card. So yeah, I think again, I don't think trading cards physical is going anywhere, but there is a big gap that can be filled by NFTs, by digital collectibles, and I hope that again, CryptoSlabs is that bridge between the two, that link that kind of brings people from the physical space into digital. And yeah, I think the future is bright. Digital collectibles definitely have its place. TopShot, Dapper has really kind of laid the groundwork for a lot of other collections, and I'm hoping we only see it improve.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
the product, kids are the next gen.
Product's brilliant, but I mean, I think a lot of credit's due to you specifically for being a solid ambassador, and because once again, that passion comes through and people connect with that. So I really appreciate what you're doing. Looking forward to talking to you again. I hope you have a blast in Chicago, and hell yeah, man, this was awesome.
Oh, thank you. Again, love the support. That's what keeps me going. You know, that's what makes me stay up an extra hour at night to, you know, put what I can into the slabs, into the product. You know, it started off as a hobby. It grew into kind of a small business, but I'm not stopping there. I mean, I really believe that this has legs, and, you know, will be something that hopefully, you know, is kind of becomes a household name in the not too distant future as kind of the way to display NFTs, digital collectibles. So yeah, I mean, thanks to the NFT community, the TopShot community, thanks to you, Banana, Tork, you know, a few others out there that have supported me since kind of the beginning, so to speak. So yeah, really appreciate it.
Thank you. And thank you for coming on. And to everybody listening, just remember, iPad kids are the next generation and they love a screen and technology. So we're good. Our retirement's safe. Thank you, everyone, for watching episode 112 of the Collectin and Connectin podcast.
Congrats.
Thanks, Tork.
Congrats. Amazing. See you guys.
So, guys.
And you can find more on Moment by Moment, What Do You Collect, as well as the full catalog of the CNC podcast. And there's a bunch to catch up on. And if you're like me, when you listen or watch podcasts, once you get into them and learn the hosts and the people that are on there, I tend to dig and go back into the archives and listen to some of the older ones because it gives more context and some of the fun stories. So please check that out. YouTube.com @Collectin and Connectin. You can email us at Collectin and Connectin @gmail.com. You'll hear me say a lot of times without the G's. I put it up on the screen just to make sure you can see. Email us if you have somebody that you'd love to see on there, or if you'd like to come on. We'd love to connect with you.